What's up, boys and girls? Today, a lot of information's coming out for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Seems like the embargo was lifted off of some of the reviewers that were invited to play what appears to be like the first hour and a half to 2 hours-ish of the game, depending on who you talk to. So, I'm going to pull up some of the information on this. We're going to discuss because this stuff is getting me beyond excited. Alright, so here we are. I've got GameSpots up. I know everyone's blowing up the Kotaku article, but I have to be honest, I really dislike Kotaku. Not saying GameSpot or Game Informer or any of them are any better journalists. Any chance I can get to not support Kotaku. Anyway, it says, in Sword and Shield, choosing your starter is weirdly emotional. I don't think anyone's going to find that weird. We've always loved choosing our starters. It's always been something. I think a lot of us have actually picked our starter well before we've even had the game at our house. Almost every Pokemon game has given you the choice of one of three starter Pokemon who you'd set out on your adventure, and almost every Pokemon game gives one of the two Pokemon you didn't choose to your pre-designated rival. Choosing a starter in Pokemon is always a big deal, but Sword and Shield bring a lot of spectacle. A lot more spectacle than the previous games. So much so the process I've always done based on aesthetic and mechanical choices. Actually, oh, okay. So, yeah, this article on GameSpot talks about they had played Sword and Shield for 90 minutes at a demo event. From the start, the newest Pokemon games have more flair than the previous ones. The opening sequence, which was once just a professor briefly talking about what Pokemon are, is now closer to a cinematic cutscene befitting the mainline game's transition to the Switch. Good to hear. I always like hearing about minor updates like that. I know it's nothing groundbreaking. It's nothing that fans look at and say, thank God the series started doing that. But it's one of those minor quality of life things that you just like to see as the series moves forward. The same upgraded cutscene treatment extends to choosing your starter, and it gives Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble the chance to really show off their personalities. I feel like that's just the stuff we've seen in the trailer, right? Where you see Scorbunny run and light on fire the grass where he runs from the little patches underneath his feet, and you see Grookey tap his stick and the grass comes back, and Sobble, or Sobble spits on it, that sort of stuff. Like in the previous games, pick your starter shows yep, okay. I felt I had to pick Sobble because the poor baby just needs a friend. When my rival Hop picked Scorbunny, I was surprised. Older Pokemon games taught me the rival always picks the Pokemon with the type advantage over yours, and while that hasn't been true for a while, I still wasn't expecting Hop to take the high road. Is that true? Because I remember picking Bulbasaur and my rival picking Squirtle. I don't remember ever having them pick. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember ever having them pick the Pokemon that has the advantage over yours. So it was all fine, but I left Grookey staying alone, absolutely devastated because it didn't get picked. I was very upset. Older Pokemon games taught me that the third starter just sits in the ball for all of eternity, which again is no longer true. Yep. Sun and Moon will take the third starter, for example, but I was again not expecting anyone to actually take the third Pokemon. When the Galar champion who brought us the starters in the first place took him, I was relieved. I would not be relieved, and that's a spoiler too, because that says that you're going to get your Pokemon for the... Is it for the first time? You're not getting it from the professor at the beginning of the game. You're getting it from the champion of the Galar region. So that's interesting. After this, I was undecided about my starter Pokemon. I remain undecided. Need to see their final forms. Yeah, and I think we're all kind of in that boat, right? Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like everyone wants to see the final forms before they decide on their starter Pokemon. And me, I want to see the list. I've said this before, and I think this is where I settled. I had sat down and I had discussed this with Ben. Where I've settled is, what are the other Pokemon in the game? Because I normally pick my starter based on what gaps I want to fill. I'm never super connected to my starter, with the exception of Let's Go Eevee, because I do love Eevees. Irritated that I can't, evolve my Eevee, but But yeah, mine are normally stopgaps. Like, what is my team missing? Out of all the Pokemon I can get in the game, I kind of know which ones I want to see, which ones I want to pick and hunt for. And yeah, I'm gonna get all of them. I'm gonna level all of them up, whatever. But I've said it before. If Bulbasaur's in the game, I have a really hard time picking Grookey. And then if Mudkip's in the game, why would I pick Sobble? That leaves me with Scorbunny. And so that's one article. That's GameSpot's just notes on picking your starter, which I thought was interesting. So then we come to the Verge. Opening is a bit of nostalgia and innovation, shaping to be a bold step forward for the series. I'm not gonna say it's a bold step forward, but you know, it's definitely some steps forward. Preview of a Pokemon not seen in this game yet. Now you know what's in it. One of the things that this article really made me do is take a look at the 4 avatars that are on screen. I feel like the amount of player customization in this game as you progress is going to get really up there. I said this in a previous video. I feel like with the light MMO theme to these max raid battles, they're really wanting players to individualize their trainer. And I do think that this is another note after watching the Nintendo Life review of their demo, which by the way, I'm not sure why they even make Nintendo videos. They seem to dislike every quality Nintendo game that's released. They had mentioned that the wild area and the max raids feel very un-Pokemon-y, and I think that kind of goes into the Breath of the Wild thing. This isn't leaps and bounds like Breath of the Wild, but as you start to incorporate things that are more MMO related, or different genres are being merged into the Pokemon games, you're going to start to see them focus on, this is the transition to, we have better hardware, the software is improving, we have, our developers are on their game, and at this point, we really, really, really want our players to feel invested in their player characters. So we want you to make your player character. And to do that in this manner, they're starting to give you more things. There's a flash cutscene. Yep. Leon is the name of the Galarian champion. And there's a new transformation on display early on called Dynamax that renders once cute Pokemon, pocket monsters, and enormous skyscraper-sized fighters. Yeah, so I did hear that in 2 reviews that you will see Dynamaxing pretty early. There is a lot less hand-holding, and I love this quote right here. The opening hour of Sword and Shield feels like a traditional JRPG. I'm really starting to see and feel that as well from the reviews, and that gets me more excited than I previously was. Dropped into a customization screen to create your protagonist, who lives in a stereotypical small town and harbors ambitions to see the world. Yeah, we kind of knew that. There's no professor to meet, no grumpy rival that you face off with, as in classic games. You're going to get your starter Pokemon from Leon, who just happens to be the older brother of your best friend Hop. Leon's the role model you'll both be chasing after as you set off to collect gym badges, and he acts like a guiding light in your quest to become the region's best trainer. I dislike that. I really like the idea of a Gary-type personality who's just an a-hole the whole game. Having someone, a bunch of people around you that are just buddy pals is kind of weird, but does feed into, this is the first one with max raid battles, so it does kind of feed into that community sense. You also have a chance run-in with a powerful Pokemon of ancient legends, setting up a fateful meeting down the line. Okay. I wonder if that's a Turnimus? I don't know, whatever the leaked name is. It feels like a proper opening to an adventure RPG that just so happens to involve tiny, emotive creatures you capture, trade, and battle. Yeah, Nino Kunai had that as well. In the course of my 90 minutes, there's 90 minutes again, with the opening sequence as a shield earlier this month on a docked Switch at Nintendo Bay Area's office. I was surprised at how it felt like I was not playing a Pokemon game, but more like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy. That's interesting. Just another shot of the wild area. There's one of the bird Pokemon that you may or may not have known was in the game. Of course, most people playing Sword and Shield will have played Pokemon before. Yep. The National Dex, yeah. Game Freak knows it as a direct fan base. National Dex controversy. Get over it. Yeah, and so this is one thing that I want to talk about in these reviews too. Every reviewer is talking about what bold steps forward this takes for the Pokemon franchise, but how it's likely not going to appease all longtime fans. And I have to say, good. This is an issue that I dealt with a lot in television, which was as a show or a series or video, this applies to video games too, as a series gets longer in its tail, it has a harder time drawing in new audience without sometimes alienating the old audience. Now, here's the problem. Every Pokemon does not outsell the last Pokemon. Yes, it's true that most do, but every Pokemon does not outsell the last Pokemon. And I find it hard to believe that a Pokemon Game Freak is putting on the Switch, which has 30 million units sold, is going to outsell the last Pokemons that came out on the portable system, which has sold 100 plus million copies or whatever at this point in time. I find it hard to believe that. And so Game Freak seems like they took some chances here to try to appeal to the broader audience of the Switch instead of just Pokemon fans. From every review, that's what it sounds like. I went through my demo a bit worried. Most Pokemon games start off slow and predictable, standard tutorials and a lot of time wandering around tall grass so you can catch backup Pokemon or train your starter enough to take on the first gym leader. None of that happened. Ugh, love it. I did catch some new adorable Pokemon. I did pick up the Weeping Sobble as my starter because who would dare choose another? I just mentioned, is Mudkip in the game? That's who would pick another. People who have Mudkip in the game. But I spent a lot of my time just exploring the world and really getting to know various characters and the tone Game Freak is setting. Everything feels lighthearted and adventurous, like you're playing the Pokemon anime come to life. Even little touches, like the crowd that flocks to Leon in the first stop away from home to gawk at his powerful Charizard, help make this feel like a realized world instead of a giant and then, collectathon of a game with some light RPG systems layered on top. Beautiful. Galar's distinct, comes with its unique Game Freak is very obvious. Yes, I've heard the aesthetics and the speech is built to be the UK. So, obviously we can see the aesthetics are. Comes through the open world sections between big destinations. I only got to experience one of those. Interesting. Between the second town and the first big city where the gym, massive environment filled with wild Pokemon, trainers, fishing spots, underground dungeons that contain max raid battles. Max raid battles are where you'll fight Gigantamax versions of random Pokemon, which are distinct from the new Dynamax forms and the existing Mega Evolution ones. Though I thought Mega Evolutions were gone. Who knows? Game Freak and Nintendo gave us a look. I actually covered that. Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, and the pre-order Meowth. And then, of course, they showed us Gigantamax Butterfree, which was awesome. In these battles, Gigantamax and Dynamax are designed to appeal to hardcore players. Well, I think they're flashy, and I think they appeal to more than just the hardcore players. And people that keep saying that they're a gimmick, even if it does look gimmicky, it's the same gimmick as... what was it? Max Evolution, Z moves. Every time they add something like this, it's a hook to the system. It's, it's just something to draw people in. It's something new. I think people that play Let's Go Let's Go games could get into this and probably will get into this. Especially if they had a positive experience with their first time with those games. So basically, all these articles are coming out, and I want to summarize a couple of things. One, tutorials are dead. The tutorial is now playing the game. It's finally come time for Game Freak to embrace the fact that even non-Pokemon players can understand the concepts that they're pitching us in this game simply by playing out a battle, simply by leveling up, simply by, by doing these things, we can learn these concepts. They're not overtly, complex. So it's fine. On top of that, it seems like, they've made the game's pace feel better. If in 90 minutes all these people are saying they feel like they really accomplished a lot, they pick their starter, Had a couple of level ups, got some new moves, saw the wild area, got to the first town. Game seems, like the world is living and breathing. That's a lot of stuff in 90 minutes. So it feels like they really unleash you pretty quick in this game as opposed to most Pokemon games. And that brings me to the Let's Go Pokemon and Eevee, which a bunch of people I know, this is anecdotal of course, but they had played that as their first Pokemon game ever and said that the beginning felt a little slow. And that's true, because if you remember those beginning Pokemon games, it was kind of grindy in the beginning. It's like, here's 10 new Pokemon, none of which you're probably going to use at the end of the game, but do catch them to level up the starters, do catch them to level up the good ones. Yeah, this should definitely push that envelope a bit. And then, of course, the big strides with the open area, making it feel more JRPG-ish and a little less, let's call it simple. De-emphasizing breeding, I think, allows you to add more in other avenues, because breeding was dumb. Anyway, I'm really excited. It's really heartening to see these reviews pop out that are really just good. They're genuinely well received. And of course, all of these people are above or on the side of the National Dex controversy, where they just don't care. It's not their job to care about that. It's their job to report on the game and how good the game is. So they're objective enough to be able to say the game is really good. And if you're one of those National Dex babies, then, sorry, but they're not going to be in this game. And that's just the way it is. So anyway, I've been Chris. This has been the Tiger's Den. You guys have been great. Let me know what you think about all the Pokemon reviews being pulled from Embargo today. This video will probably be posting in the evening time, so also make sure you check out the channel, hit that like button, subscribe. And I believe earlier today I will have had some first thoughts and impressions on Little Town Hero, also from Game Freak, because that came out last night and I've been playing it a little bit since then. So, thanks.